Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to show you Castos' new onboarding workflow. So when you sign up for your account at Castos, which is very easy, I'll show you how to do that right now, you'll have a nice, new, easy-to-use onboarding wizard help you get your podcast feed details all set up, ready to go. And all you have to do is upload that episode and get your podcast listed in Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever else you want to list your podcast. Okay, here we are at Castos website. We're going to set up a 14-day free trial, put in your name, email address, and password, agree to the terms of service, and let's continue. So we click continue and we're ready to go. First off, we're going to kick things off by saying, hey, let's start by creating your podcast. Are you starting from scratch with a new podcast, existing podcast to import, or do you plan on publishing through WordPress? So you have three different options to choose here. We're going to go with creating a new podcast from scratch right here on Castos. But if you're importing an existing podcast from another podcast hosting service, you would obviously select the import existing podcast. And if you are one of our Seriously Simple Podcasting plugin users, you would click on Connect to WordPress. Let's start from scratch. Let's click that button. Okay, what do we need first and foremost for our podcast? We need a title. We're going to call it Matt's Amazing Show. And a description. Matt interviews some of the best YouTubers, let's say YouTubers, on YouTube. And in your description, you might want to go a little bit deeper than this. Of course, every little detail in a podcast adds up to what's going to motivate people to click and listen and subscribe. It's kind of a funny thing. Not one thing really matters when you're setting up your podcast, but it's the sum of everything that really makes a difference. Spend as much time as you can critically thinking about your description. At the end of the day, if you're just starting out, the number one way to grow a podcast is word of mouth and sharing it on social media. Let's move on to the next item. Clicking next, we have the option of uploading a podcast cover art. Now, there are a few requirements I'd like you to pay attention to here. So, image must be an exact square. It can't be even off by 1 pixel, or Apple and other places will not approve the feed. The size is between 1400 by 1400 and 3000 by 3000 pixels. So, no less and no more than 1400 by 1400 and 3000 by 3000. The file must be either a PNG or a JPG, and the maximum file size is 1 megabyte. Now, this is loosely agreed upon. At one time, 1 megabyte was a lot of data. Nowadays, it's very easy to get a 3000 by 3000 pixel image, very graphically heavy and well over 1 megabyte. Try to keep it as low as possible. It's just going to work better and load times and quicker, but it can probably be a little bit more than a megabyte. I do have other videos using a service called TinyPNG that you can click on and watch to help you compress and make these images a little bit smaller. Okay, let's go ahead and select our cover art from our computer. So I'm just going to drag my cover art right into that section. You can see we have all green check marks. The image is just under a megabyte. And click next. Claim your Castos website URL. So every podcast package here at Castos comes with a awesome Castos website. You can pick the URL right here. So right now it's Matt's-amazing-show.castos.com. Let's call it the wearehere.castos.com. That is available. So we'll hit next. Later on, you can point, if you register a domain, you can actually point it to Castos. So you don't always need to use that subdomain. And the last item we need here are the categories. So we have to pick a primary category and a subcategory. You can select other categories later on, but Apple's really only looking at one primary podcast these days. Let's say business and entrepreneurship is a good category for my show. We'll click next, and then we'll get the summary. You have everything you've filled out. So if there's something you want to change, for instance, if you want your owner name to be something other than what's listed here, you can go ahead and click on that to edit. But we're going to go ahead and create my podcast. The awesome funfetti, is it funfetti? Confetti. I'm thinking cakes. Cakes is funfetti. That was confetti popping up. and letting us know, hey, the show has been created. It's inside of Castos. You're all set. Well done. Your podcast is ready. Let's keep going by adding your first episode. And you can either click to add your first episode right now or go directly to the dashboard. Let's click on add the first episode, which will bring you right to your uploading episode inside Matt's amazing show. So all you need to do now is a title for your episode, type in the show notes for your episode, and then go ahead and upload the file to the media file section. If you already have your shows recorded, you can start getting to work doing that right now. We have things like automated transcripts, automatically published to YouTube. There's a bunch of features that Castos has here in the starter plan and in the plans above. I invite you to check around if this is the first time you've seen Castos. And then when you're ready to create finalize your account, you can click on upgrade now, and that'll bring you to select the plans from our pricing sheet. It's the new onboarding workflow for Castos. I got to tell you, I'm super excited. It's so much easier than it was in the past. And that's it. Once the podcast settings have been saved and you've uploaded your episode, you're ready to go. You're ready to take your show and send it out to the world. We'll go to settings, distribution, and right down here is where you would get your feed name for the podcast. And that's what you would use to send to Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Google. We have a bunch of videos and tutorials on how to do that. But that's for another episode. If you like today's video, go ahead and thumbs up. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Are you excited for the onboarding workflow as much as I am? Maybe not. Maybe not, but I'm telling you, it's a great experience and you'll really enjoy it, especially if you're making one or many podcasts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.